Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Singapore Metro Women's Show, a show wherein we bring talented artists from the world and showcase their works. I'm your host VJ. Today, our guest for the day is a very talented magician, a magician who does magic with her hands. She has an amazing eye for detail, so much so that her work has been appreciated and recognized for the fine nuances and the rigor that she brings onto the table. She is known for bringing world-famous personalities and icons to life through her portrait. Ladies and gentlemen, we present you the gorgeously gifted and supremely talented Minu Aswani. Minu, welcome to our show. We're really delighted to have you.
Thank you so much for inviting me on your show.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Minu, congratulations on your exhibition, which is your first solo exhibition, which happened about a year ago. Is that right?
Yeah, it was in December 2015.
Right. Talk us through your exhibition and your experiences during that exhibition.
It was my first time, and I actually was a bit nervous about it. I can't deny that because I'm not sure how people would react to my paintings. But my kids and my family especially encouraged me to try. They say if I don't try, I will never know how well I do and how much recognition and appreciation I'll have for my work. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go and try. And I was surprised that I had a pretty good response actually.
Oh, really? Okay. Can you share some of your experiences during the show?
I sold a few pieces. I had about 15 pieces of
Right.
my own works, and I sold about 4 pieces.
Right.
Yeah, and I thought which was good for a start. And more than that, it was good to have some exposure and at least let people know, let the word go around that at least I am doing this. Otherwise, most people didn't even know that I was doing it,
Right.
since it was my first time.
Right.
So I'm pretty happy with it.
Some rich experiences.
Yes, very much so.
How long did it take for you to prepare for such an exhibition?
I started painting actually about 2008, but that I started as a hobby more than anything. My mom had just passed away, and my daughter actually wanted me to get over the grief, so she said, "Let me get you some lessons." She got me a package of 8 lessons to start with, and I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And she did it with me, and I had a niece also who was very interested in painting, and she was also there in this particular studio. So initially, of course, I started with acrylic and then I went to oils and never looked back after that. And just one thing led to another, and I realized as I was doing more and more, I enjoyed it more. And my kids as well and some friends encouraged me to just actually try and do an exhibition because they thought I was good enough, I suppose.
Great. I had a look at your collection of portraits on Instagram. You have a pretty much huge fan following there, and I had a look at the portraits. Ranging from Nelson Mandela to Lee Kuan Yew. One particular portrait really caught my attention. That was Albert Einstein. Such nuance, such detail.
Yes.
I was like, the green color. I was going green with envy seeing that. Yeah, and so can you tell us, sure, you have a penchant for bringing the famous icons in the form of life-size portraits. Can you share with us why? What's your motivation?
Well, most of the people, actually all of them, the portraits I do a lot of them in black and whites because I just feel that it's interesting. And with a bit of color I add on, like the green, for instance, for a little bit of the hair on Einstein. I do people whom I actually admire and whose values I actually look up to and I relate to. Because I think that if I just did a plain face and I didn't know who it was, I didn't have any relationship with the person in terms of actually, mental or emotional, I feel, I can't really bring out the essence of a person. And that's what I try and do and capture in a painting. I try and bring out the essence of the person in the expression, in the person's smile, in the eyes. Otherwise anybody can do a face. It's just what you can bring, like little nuances of what you feel. And you look up to. And if you don't really look up to, like someone mentioned, why don't you do this person or that person? I said, but I don't really admire that person. So it's going to be hard to to bring life to that person on a
So
portrait.
you're saying that the person whom you're doing a portraiture has to be an inspiration for you, someone who
Yes,
has been a role
definitely.
model for you.
Definitely has to be an inspiration, yes.
Right, right. How many portraits have you done till date? Maybe.
Well, if you're talking about people outside of my family, I would
Right.
have probably would have done about maybe almost 20 now
Right,
portraits, yeah.
right. And so those portraits, to hear you speak, include family members as well whom you have looked up to. Is that right?
Family members in the beginning when I was painting as a hobby, I wanted to do just because I wanted to practice my portraits, and of course I love my family. Everybody loves their families, and I wanted to do individual persons, my daughters and all. I've got 3 girls,
Right,
and then of course I moved on to personalities whom I admired. It was
right,
Mandela because I lived in South Africa for 5 years, and
right,
he's definitely been a big icon for me,
right.
And Lee Kuan Yew, whom I admire, and then Malala and Aung San Suu Kyi, various, people whom I admire.
Which is your favorite painting?
Every time I do and start a new painting, I
Right.
keep saying that's my favorite. I just absolutely love this one, and then when I go on to the next, and I say, maybe this is better still. I like it. So I don't actually have any particular favorite. When Lee Kuan Yew passed away, I actually did twice, 2 paintings of his. One of him where I do half face of him as a young man and half of him as an old man in one portrait. And when he passed away, I know I wanted to do a tribute to him. So I actually did a larger one with some of his words on it. And I would say that he means a lot to me. I think that he's done a lot, and I think we've benefited a lot as a Singaporean.
Sure, yes. That really sounds fascinating. You talked about that child in you being kindled every time you finish one and you start with a new painting. Can you share with us how does your creative brain works? Do you have a routine? How do you start with painting? Do you need an inspiration first?
Generally, I try and think about who are the personalities whom I would like to capture, and then I look for a photograph. Normally, I go online, or I ask my kids maybe to give me a suggestion, maybe of what. Say, if I want a particular personality, I say I want Lee Kuan Yew, or I want Mandela, or I want Gandhi. Then I start looking up at the photos, different photos. I just look at the images that are online and see what image that I want to capture of the person. I don't tend to do more of the face. I don't do so much of full body, and I just try and find an image that I particularly like, and then try and do it
Right.
and capture. And then I decide on the size based on the portrait that I pick.
No, I'm just trying to understand your creative process a little bit
I
more.
see, I see.
So
Yes.
do you kind of, okay, today in the morning I start, with a portraiture and I begin my process, and then does the image come to your mind, or do you already have a preconceived idea that okay, I'm going to draw a portraiture of this person first?
Yeah, like I said, I actually think about who I want to paint next. Every time I do
Right.
one, and then I will think, okay, who am I going to do next? And then, like I said, I find a photograph. And once I
Right.
do the photograph, then I focus on the photograph. That's it.
Right.
It's actually that. And as I go on and do deeper and deeper into it, I just try and capture as much of the essence of the person as I can, possibly. And, until I get satisfied.
That's very
all.
nice.
Yeah.
Can you share with us what led to you to where you are today? Any specific defining moment that you decided, okay, I'm going to be a portrait artist?
I've always actually liked doing portraits for people. I mean, since a kid and teenager, I've always liked sketching, but pencil sketching of people. And but I never really actually went much into painting,
Right.
except for school. Where you do watercolor painting and all. That's just in school. Until I went for these classes I told you for, the sessions which my daughter bought me. And I started with acrylic, and then I went on to oil. And I realized that it's actually, oils are so beautiful. Because with acrylic, I find that I can't go over and over again. I'm not a very tidy artist. I can't just say I get it right the first time and I'm happy. And with acrylic, you can't keep layering because it becomes clumpy, and it dries too quickly.
Right.
But with oils, even after a few months, if you want to go back to it, you can go over and correct something. So I just thought that media was really, really good, more to my liking.
If there was one challenge that you have as an artist, and what would be your biggest challenge that you would say it is?
Like I said, I think capturing the essence of a person and of course making it accurate, where a person immediately enters in a room and sees your portrait and says, "Ah, you've captured Malala, or
Right.
you've captured Gandhi, or and this is so real and this is so good."
Right.
And the essence is important, because if you capture a person's face which has just got a blank expression, it's not like you've not achieved what you want. And of course, it's nice to be able to do an image in your mind and try and do a portrait of a person, but I think that you cannot then get all the little details. Like, I like doing older people because they got a lot of lines or wrinkles on their face. And then to capture those little lines and all, which add character to the person's face. So it is not as easy as when you look at it and you say, oh, okay, it takes time to give attention to such small detail. And I think I'm a perfectionist by nature. So until I'm actually satisfied, I mean, people might say, oh, but it looks fine, and I'll just say, no, I think I still need to add some. So I think the challenge is more within me rather than an external challenge. It's inside of me that I must be satisfied, and I feel like I've captured the essence of a person.
And you captured it beautifully by saying that, the capturing the essence is the most important thing. When people come in and say that, hey, look, you captured this person beautifully. Do you say that would be your success metric?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
If someone tells me, they can see, look at the eyes and see something, it's almost that the portrait comes alive, And you see, what I also like to do is to try and get a person, though it's a flat surface, a canvas is flat, to try and almost get a 3D effect of a person's face just through the shades, dark light, the lighting and all that. You can actually almost get where the concave areas are and where the convex areas are, and actually have a 3D effect of a person's face. And if I'm able to capture that, I think I have done well.
And that you have, we can see that all the portraits that you have brought to life are definitely larger than life.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for that.
What is it that you love the most about your work?
I don't know. I just enjoyed being immersed in it, because it started as a hobby. Now it's almost become a bit of a passion. Sometimes at night when I sleep, I actually think about my portraits. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. I just can't wait to go back to correct this or that. But I'm not obsessive about it, definitely. I'm passionate, but it's not an obsession. If I miss a day or two of art, it doesn't bother me if I have other things to do. Sometimes I just want to break and I say, no, I need a break from this, and that's it. But I enjoy the fact that I just am so immersed in it that even if I have people around me or music or whatever, it just doesn't bother me.
Right.
It's almost
Do you see a spiritual angle to that immersion?
Well, everything they say that if you become one with something, actually it's spirituality, right?
Right.
But, well, I suppose it is, in a way, it's a spiritual experience.
There's so many young people out there, young budding artists and children that want to be like you. What would be your advice for them?
Well, first of all, you must have an interest. It must start off as an interest, and it also must develop into a passion. If you don't have a passion for something, after a while you just give up, and you won't be able to have your passion must reflect in your work. If you don't have the passion, it's just going to be an empty sort of canvas, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So your personality, in a way, is also projected on the canvas when you actually paint.
Right.
Because it's a mixture of your personality and the person you're trying to paint, which actually becomes almost one. So if you don't have an interest in something, then, or a passion in anything, I say, whether it's dancing or singing or, then I don't think you should pursue it. But if you do have an interest and passion, I think you should pursue it. Right. Definitely.
Right. And how do they identify that passion?
Well, that's something I suppose you have to experiment.
Right.
And,
What are your dreams, Minu?
In terms of my work?
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about wanting to do another exhibition probably towards the end of this year. Mm-hmm. That's what I hope to be able to achieve. And this time maybe, the last time I did was at the art jamming studio at the Mandarin Gallery, which was not really a gallery per se. It was just where people just go and do it. So it's more like a social painting venue, and I just took over the venue, and they were very helpful and kind about and cooperative about it. But this time I'm hoping to be able to do it in a proper gallery so that I can at least have it in a gallery setting.
Right.
And I'm also thinking whether I should go into actually teaching. If people are interested, maybe to actually teach, but maybe not very little kids, it's a bit hard to teach them. Teaching people who are actually interested in doing portraits.
Right. At a formal level?
I mean, at the same venue, but it's more an informal setting.
Right.
To just teach them some of the nuances and how to get portraits, some of the tips that you get about how to do a face right.
Right.
So that's one of my plans, but I'm just waiting to see whether I can get a good response for it.
Well, wish you very good luck for your new exhibition and also for your future teaching plans. It was an absolute delight having you here, Minu.
Thank you so much.
And we look forward to seeing more of your work gain critical acclaim and your name being spread around this part of the world as well as outside.
Thank you so much.
Wish you all.
Yes, thank you.